Derinkuyu and another underground city called Keimakli. And so we're looking at very advanced engineering, potentially from a very, very early era.
Ever imagined a life without the sun? For centuries, people have built and lived in entire cities underground. These hidden ancient channels hold secrets and fantasies that are feared to be lost in time. But with the advent of scientific explorations, they are now being developed into modern subterranean worlds. So, where are these incredible underground cities? Today, we will explore 27 hidden underground cities you won't believe actually exist. Number 27. Derinkuyu, Turkey. Derinkuyu, also called Elengubu, is an ancient underground city in Nevşehir province, Turkey. This place is massive, going down about 85 meters, which is like 280 feet deep. It was big enough to hold 20,000 people, their animals and food supplies.
This is for animals. Animals.
For animals.
Tie and put the food, small animals.
It's the largest underground city in Turkey and one of many hidden gems in Cappadocia. The story of Derinkuyu starts with the Phrygians back in the 8th or 7th century before Christ. Later, during Roman times, it got even bigger. By the Byzantine era, it was fully developed and used as a safe place during the Arab-Byzantine Wars, which happened between 780 and 1180 after Christ. What's even cooler? It's connected to Keimakli by tunnels about 8 to 9 kilometers long.
These underground spaces underneath each house were known to people and they were using it for storage.
Some amazing artifacts from the 5th to 10th centuries were found there too. During the 14th century, Christians hid here to escape the Mongolian invasions led by Timur, and later, under Ottoman rule, Cappadocian Greeks and Armenians used the city to protect themselves from persecution. In 1963, it was rediscovered, and by 1969, visitors could start exploring its tunnels. As of 2016, about half of it is open for visitors. Up next is another amazing underground city, just as mind-blowing as the last. Number 26. Naours, France. The underground city of Naours, hidden in northern France, is like stepping into a time machine. Imagine a maze of stone chambers, all dug by hand, that has kept people safe throughout history. It started out as a quarry but grew over the years into a massive underground town. At its peak, it had 300 rooms, 28 galleries, and could shelter about 3,000 people. There were spaces for animals, chapels for prayer, areas like town squares, and even a bakery with working ovens. Can you imagine baking bread underground? In the 17th century, during the chaos of the 30 Years' War, Naours became a safe haven, protecting people from the destruction happening above ground. Fast forward to 1887, and it was rediscovered, eventually becoming a favorite stop for soldiers during the First World War. During the Second World War, it even served as a Nazi headquarters. How wild is that? Today, Naours is one of the biggest tunnel systems in northern France and an important piece of history. You can take guided tours, visit a museum showing ancient trades, and learn about the lives of the people who once called this underground city home. It's a place where history truly comes alive.
Oh, wow.
Number 25. Shanghai Tunnels, USA.
Portland's most fascinating urban legends is the story of the Shanghai tunnels underneath Portland's central city.
The old Portland Underground, also called the Shanghai Tunnels, boasts secret passages beneath Portland, Oregon, mostly under the Old Town Chinatown neighborhood. Back in the day, they connected hotel and tavern basements to the Willamette River waterfront, so people could move goods without clogging up the streets. In the 19th century, newspapers talked about these tunnels, often tying them to organized crime. But here's the twist. Historians say there's no real proof they were used to kidnap sailors, even though some stories say otherwise.
They carved a peg that went halfway on this side and another peg that went halfway on the other side.
Portland historian Barney Blaylock believes these Shanghaiing tales came from made-up stories printed in the Oregonian newspaper in 1962. Then, in the 1970s, Shanghai tunnel tours became a hit, which only made the rumors grow. In 1990, businessman Bill Naito confirmed the tunnels were real and found them under Northwest Couch, Davis, and Everett streets. Isn't it amazing to think about all the history lurking right beneath one's feet? Number 24. Edinburgh Vaults, Scotland. Now we visit the Edinburgh Vaults, also known as the South Bridge Vaults. These underground chambers are tucked inside the 19 arches of the South Bridge in Edinburgh, Scotland. The bridge was built way back in 1788, and for about 30 years, the vaults were bustling with life. They had taverns, workshops, and even storage spaces.
It's because they were all living in close living quarters and conditions back in the day.
But over time, things changed, and the vaults took a darker turn. They became a hideout for the homeless and a place where shady stuff happened like illegal gambling and whiskey making. Some even say body snatchers kept corpses there, though there's no solid proof that infamous guys like Burke and Hare ever used them. By the 1820s, conditions got so bad that businesses left, and by 1860, even the poorest folks had abandoned the place.
There is a hole here, and it's very small, and that's something that they used to use to pass goods.
Then, in 1985, excavations uncovered signs that people once lived and worked there. In recent times, the vaults are still alive in a different way. On the north side of the Cowgate Arch, they're famous for ghost tours. On the south side, spaces like the caves and the Rowan Tree host events and live music. And during the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the vaults turn into one of the hottest festival venues, with more than 60 shows happening every single day. Number 23. Wieliczka Salt Mine, Poland. The incredible Wieliczka Salt Mine in Poland is unbelievably deep, stretching 327 meters down or 1,073 feet deep and spreading out over 287 kilometers or 178 miles. The salt here isn't the white kind you sprinkle on fries. It's naturally gray, looking more like rough granite.
The remarkable Wieliczka salt mine, just outside of Krakow, has been producing salt for 8 centuries.
Now, this place is more than just a mine. There's an underground lake, fascinating salt mining exhibits, and even a visitor's trail about 3.5 kilometers long, or 2.2 miles. Along the way, you'll see stunning statues carved entirely out of rock salt. It's like walking through an underground art gallery. The mine's story goes way back to 1044 when it was first recorded, but it really took off in the 13th century. King Casimir III the Great gave it a major boost by granting privileges and even founding a hospital in 1363. By 1871, it was producing tons of salt.
Visitors expect salt white, but it's black, but it's salt. If you don't trust me, you can taste it.
During the Second World War, the Germans used it for ammunition manufacturing, and in 1978, it earned its spot as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's even a cool legend about Princess Kinga, the patron saint of salt miners. Today, this mine is a national treasure in Poland. It's filled with chapels and statues, all carved from salt, and about 1.2 million people visit every year. Over time, famous folks like Nicholas Copernicus, Frédéric Chopin, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, and even former U.S. President Bill Clinton have walked these salt-filled halls. Visitors can explore 2 routes: the tourist route, which shows off breathtaking views, and the museum route, featuring horse mills and glittering salt crystals. The mine even hosts private events, with wooden staircases and an elevator to help you explore this underground marvel. Number 22. Setenil de las Bodegas, Spain. The incredible town of Setenil de las Bodegas in Spain is about 98 miles northeast of Cadiz. Imagine houses built right into the rock walls above a river called the Rio Guadalporcún. It's not a big town, however. Back in 2005, it had just about 3,016 people living there. The town stretches along the Rio Trejo, with homes tucked snugly into the rocky gorge. Setenil's story goes way back. It started as a fortified Moorish town with a castle built in the 12th century. But it doesn't stop there. It was occupied during the Roman invasion, and some say people might have lived there even earlier. The name Setenil has an interesting history too. It refers to how the town stood strong during Christian attacks, only surrendering after 7 intense sieges in 1484.
But even these ones over there are built into the rocks. I don't know if you can see.
Fast forward to the 15th century, and Christian settlers brought vineyards to the area. Sadly, those vineyards didn't last long. A nasty pest called phylloxera wiped them out in the 1860s. But despite everything, Sentinel still holds on to its rich history and farming traditions. As impressive as that sounds, this next underground city is deep in the heart of the desert and is just as incredible. Number 21. Coober Pedy, Australia. Coober Pedy is tucked away in northern South Australia, about 846 kilometers north of Adelaide, right along the Stuart Highway. It's also known as the opal capital of the world. If you visit, you'll see a big blower truck right above the town sign, a little nod to its opal mining history. And here's something really cool. Most people here live in underground homes, called dugouts, to escape the blazing heat.
Come in. As you can see, it's all hand-built.
The town's name, Coober Pedy, actually comes from the Kokatha Barngarla words Kupa Piti, which means white fella's hole. In 1975, the local Aboriginal community also gave it another name, Umuna, which means long life. Coober Pedy has become a must-see spot for tourists, especially since the Stuart Highway was fully sealed in 1987. The town thrives on tourism and opal mining, offering unique attractions like old mines, a quirky graveyard, and even underground churches. If you're planning a visit, there are plenty of motels where you can stay underground, just like the locals. The town even has its own solar power station to keep everything running. While you're there, don't miss iconic places like Crocodile Harry's underground nest or the Umuna Opal Mine and Museum. And if you're lucky enough to visit during the annual Coober Pedy Opal Festival. Number 20. Earth Scraper, Mexico City. Welcome to Mexico City, where history and modern life collide in a truly unique way. The historic center is like a layered puzzle made of different periods, all built on top of each other. The Aztecs constructed massive pyramids on a lake, expanding them as their empire grew.
The Aztec Emperor Moctezuma played in front of Spanish conqueror Hernán Cortés.
After the Spanish conquest, they built Christian temples on top of the Aztec pyramids and transformed the area into a colonial city. In the 20th century, modern buildings replaced many of the colonial structures, creating the Mexico City we know today. Now, as the city grows, space is running out. The historic center needs new infrastructure, but strict laws prevent demolishing historic buildings, and there are height limits on new structures, restricting them to 8 stories. So to build downwards instead of up, the earth scraper was proposed as an inverted skyscraper that digs into the earth rather than reaching for the sky. The earth scraper is designed to preserve the look of Zocalo, the world's one of the largest squares, surrounded by landmarks like the cathedral, National Palace, and city government buildings. Inside, there would be a large central void for natural light, with a glass floor to keep visitors connected to the vibrant life happening above. Number 19. Karazi Kish, Iran. Over 2,500 years ago, the people of Kish Island in the Persian Gulf built aqueducts to bring fresh water to the islanders, a remarkable feat for its time. Today, these aqueducts have transformed into Karazi Kish, an underground city stretching 10,000 square meters, famous for its large coral collection. Future plans include a 60,000 square meter development for housing, shopping, and relaxation, blending history with modern living. Long before Roman aqueducts, ancient Iranians invented the Qanat system, a series of wells that bring water from mountains to dry valleys. The Kish Qanat, over 2,000 years old, filters water through coral layers, offering a rare view of underwater marine life. Beneath the surface, 5-mile-long tunnels, 16 meters down, are reinforced with stone and mortar. Visitors can explore these tunnels, shop for Iranian gifts, and dine in subterranean restaurants, experiencing a unique blend of ancient engineering and modern tourism. Number 18. Dixia Cheng, Beijing. Dixia Cheng, also known as the Underground Great Wall, is a vast network of tunnels and chambers spanning 33 square miles beneath Beijing.
And have a look at that tunnel there behind me. So you can imagine this runs all the way. If we kept following this.
Hand-dug in the 1970s, it was designed as a shelter in case of invasions, air raids, or nuclear attacks. At its peak, over 90 hidden entrances were scattered in homes and businesses. The underground city had everything: classrooms, a movie theater, barbershops, restaurants, and even a roller skating rink. Auxiliary tunnels were stocked with grain, weapons, and supplies, and some tunnels grew crops like mushrooms, which didn't need sunlight. Although the shelter was never used for its original purpose, it faded into obscurity until parts of it were opened as a tourist attraction in 2000. Most of the underground complex remains closed, but some areas still house businesses. Visitors can tour a small section where murals and slogans from the past are on display. Since 2008, Dixia Cheng has been closed for renovations, but will eventually reopen, giving visitors a chance to explore this hidden piece of history once again. And now, we turn our attention to a buzzing underground hub that continues to amaze tourists to this day. Number 17. Réseau, Montreal, Canada. Réseau, also known as the Underground City, is a massive network that connects office towers, hotels, shopping centers, residential and commercial spaces, universities, convention halls, and even theaters. And yes, it's all underground. The best part? It connects to the Montreal Metro, making it even easier to get around. Réseau wasn't built in a day. It all started from an open pit at the southern entrance of the Mount Royal Tunnel, where Place Ville-Marie and Central Station stand today. Over time, this space was transformed into an intricate web of tunnels, passageways, and even a sky bridge, giving it a city-within-a-city vibe.
Elaborate tunnels and passageways they have. A lot of it is public space.
Unlike some other underground places, Réseau feels less like a traditional subterranean space and more like an indoor city with huge commercial areas beneath ground level. This network is especially handy during Montreal's famously harsh winters, with over 500,000 people using it every day. Réseau stretches an impressive 32 kilometers of tunnels across 12 square kilometers, or about 4.6 square miles, and there are more than 120 access points to the outside. Big-name institutions like McGill University and the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts even have their own tunnel connections to Réseau, making it a true underground hub. Number 16. The Low Line, New York. An underground park right in the heart of Manhattan, New York City, was the idea behind the Low Line, which was originally called the Delancey Underground. This ambitious project aimed to transform an old underground space beneath Delancey Street into a stunning park, the first of its kind in the world. The site is located under the eastbound roadway of Delancey Street, right near the old Williamsburg Bridge trolley terminal by Essex Street Station and Essex Crossing. Work on the park began in 2019, but sadly, progress stopped in 2020 because of funding issues. The idea for the Low Line came from two visionaries, James Ramsey and Dan Barash, back in 2009. They were inspired by the High Line, another famous park in New York City. To kick things off, in 2012, they raised over $150,000 through Kickstarter to fund an exhibition on solar lighting technology. This exhibition drew a lot of attention, and they even set up a temporary installation on the Lower East Side that attracted more than 11,000 visitors. Number 15. Underground City, Helsinki. This is Asematunneli, an underground city that connects the Helsinki Central Railway Station with city center. It's not just about transportation. This space is also a bustling shopping hub.
You would keep coming into some of those public areas that could be sporting fields.
Inside, you'll find a ticket sales area for the Rautatientori metro station, and it's connected to popular spots like the Forum Shopping Center, Stockmann, and Sokos department stores. What makes Asematunneli extra cool is that the shops and supermarkets here can stay open longer than usual, even on national holidays. This makes it a lifesaver for those last-minute shopping sprees or when you need something urgently in the greater Helsinki area. But that's not all. You can also access Campi Center and the bottom floor of Seikotalo by going through the Forum shopping center. The underground tunnels make moving around central Helsinki super easy and perfect for dodging the city's cold, rainy, or snowy weather. Asematunneli was built in the mid-1960s, specifically between 1966 and 1967, when they dug up Kaivokatu and laid down concrete canopies for the tunnels. It's a true gem for both locals and tourists. Number 14. Subtropolis, Kansas City. Let me take you on a journey to one of the coolest and most unique places you'll ever visit. Subtropolis. Located in Kansas City, Missouri, this place is not just any business complex. It's actually the world's largest underground business complex.
Now, 53 businesses occupy more than 6 million square feet of commercial space, with more on the way.
It sits in an old limestone mine and spans a massive 55 million square feet. That's over 5 million square meters of space spread across a huge 1,260-acre area. This was all developed by Lamar Hunt, and it's often called the world's largest underground business complex. Subtropolis is built deep underground, about 160 feet down, with tunnels that are about 16 feet high and 40 feet wide. These tunnels are separated by enormous limestone pillars that are about 25 feet on each side.
This mine was a limestone mine started by the Hunt Midwest Mining Company.
It's so big that it has over 10 miles of roads lit up all the time and even has miles of railroad track running through it. One of the most amazing things about Subtropolis is that the temperature inside stays pretty much the same all year round, between 65 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, so it's always nice and comfortable. And here's another cool fact. Right on top of Subtropolis, Lamar Hunt also built an amusement park called Worlds of Fun Oceans of Fun. Other mines, like one in Butler, Pennsylvania, are used for secure storage, and people are now exploring all kinds of ideas for using these vast underground spaces, like
being underground would be a great place to put a cloud.
Like mushroom farming or even storing crude oil. Number 13. Underground Science City, Singapore. Singapore's ambitious project, called the Underground Science City, is set to create a massive network of caverns that will provide office and laboratory space. The goal? To support research and development in cutting-edge fields like information technology, biotech, and life sciences. With limited space on the surface, cities around the world, especially megacities like Singapore, are turning to the underground to maximize space while being eco-friendly and sustainable.
Countries built downwards, just like in Montreal and Helsinki, where their underground cities protect people from the freezing weather.
The design of this facility is nothing short of impressive. It's built to meet the highest standards of safety, sustainability, and economy, with comfort for its users being a top priority. Every detail is carefully thought out to ensure it's both functional and efficient. To get this all off the ground, experts at Amberg reviewed a detailed feasibility study for the project. The site is located in sedimentary rock, mostly made up of sandstone from the Jurong Formation. The cavern itself will span an area of about 400 to 500 square meters.
Singapore already stores fuel and ammunition underground.
When it comes to construction, temporary support systems like plain and steel fiber-reinforced shotcrete, rock bolts, and lattice grinders will be used. These systems are crucial in making sure the cavern is sturdy and safe. On top of the feasibility study, Amberg also played a key role in managing the Specialist Research and Investigation, or SRI, works. They developed detailed geological and hydrogeological models that helped create a concept design and a cost estimate, giving the project a clear vision moving forward. Number 12. Burlington, UK. Burlington, also known as the Burlington Bunker, located under Corsham in Wiltshire. This underground city is like something straight out of a Cold War spy thriller. It's hard to imagine that such a place existed, but it was built for just that reason. That is, to keep the government safe during the darkest times. Spanning a massive 35 acres and stretching over a mile long, This secret world was built back in the late 1950s, making use of natural limestone caves already beneath Corsham. The bunker was like a little self-contained city built to survive in complete isolation for up to 3,000 to 4,000 people for 3 whole months. It had everything you could need: offices, living quarters, laundromats, storerooms, even a hospital. And of course, for fast communication, it had a system of pneumatic tubes. What's even more fascinating is the attention to detail. There were murals painted by the artist Olga Lehmann on the walls, brightening up the place with circus scenes, prehistoric creatures, and even a bizarre and controversial painting of a missionary being boiled alive. And rumor has it that the bunker had a pub called the Rose and Crown, inspired by a favorite tavern of the civil servants who'd spend time there. Number 11. Napoli Sotterranea, Naples, Italy. Napoli Sotterranea, or Naples Underground, is like a time machine, taking you back through centuries of history. The adventure begins all the way back in the 4th century BC, when the Greeks first dug into the soft volcanic tuff rock, creating aqueducts and cisterns.
No, it's actually from BC when the Greek came in to establish the city.
But it wasn't just the Greeks who expanded this underground world. The Romans took it to the next level, building more tunnels to support the ever-growing city above. As you wander through these ancient passageways, you'll come across traces of incredible engineering. There's hydraulic plaster, a special material the Romans used to make sure the tunnels didn't leak. And when World War II came around, these very same tunnels were transformed into air raid shelters, where Neapolitans sought safety from the bombings above.
And they reused this for aqueduct, and then eventually the Second World War.
Today, Napoli Sotterranea is one of Naples' must-see attractions. With expert guides leading the way, visitors can dive deep into the city's fascinating past. They'll hear stories, discover myths, and get a taste of what life was like thousands of years ago. And one of the coolest parts of the tour is the discovery of an ancient Greek-Roman theater hidden right under the city, proving just how much history is waiting to be uncovered beneath the modern streets. So, buckle up, because we're about to count down the final 10 unbelievable underground cities. Let's go. Number 10. Guanajuato, Mexico. Guanajuato, Mexico is a city that truly captures the imagination, with its rich history and undeniable charm. One of its most fascinating features is its underground network of streets, known as subterranean streets. These tunnels were originally constructed in the 19th century to deal with the city's floodwaters, but today they serve as a unique and convenient way to navigate the city, with vehicles driving beneath the lively streets above. The tunnels, a true testament to the ingenuity of the city's engineers, twist and turn beneath Guanajuato, offering a window into its fascinating past.
So, thoughts on Guanajuato, I would have to say that this...
As you walk or drive through, you'll be surrounded by beautifully preserved stone arches and walls that create an atmosphere that feels both ancient and alive with history. But these underground streets are more than just a clever solution to flooding. They've become one of the city's most captivating attractions. Number 9. Nushabad, Iran. Nushabad, Iran, is home to the incredible underground city of Uyi, a true wonder of ancient architecture and engineering.
The underground city of Nushabad in Iran might not be as famous as that in Derinkuy in Turkey.
Situated just north of Kashan, this subterranean city has a history that stretches back over 1,500 years, all the way to the Sasanian Empire. The underground complex spans 3 levels, filled with tunnels, chambers, air ducts, staircases, and canals, each one designed to offer protection during times of war. The city was built as a safeguard against invasions and to shield inhabitants from harsh weather. Inside, you'll find living spaces, storage areas, and even booby traps to keep enemies at bay. The depth of the underground city ranges from 4 to 18 meters, allowing residents to move unseen beneath the surface. Today, parts of Nushabad's underground city are open to tourists.
The construction of Nushabad in central Iran dates back around 1500 years to the Sassanid Empire,
giving visitors a rare chance to explore this hidden world. You can wander through the maze-like passages and marvel at the brilliance of ancient Persian engineering. Number 8. Historic Underground of Plzeň, Czechia. The historic underground of Plzeň, Czechia, is an intriguing labyrinth beneath the heart of the city. This vast underground network stretches for nearly 20 kilometers and has its origins in the 13th century. Initially built for storing food, the tunnels later took on a variety of functions, including water management and serving as a refuge during times of war. Visitors can explore an 800-meter section of this hidden world, which includes cellars, wells, and winding passageways. In certain areas, the underground city spans 2 to 3 levels, demonstrating the brilliance of medieval engineering. The tour highlights the historic waterworks system and offers a fascinating peek into the daily lives of Plzeň's medieval inhabitants. Today, the historic underground is a popular tourist destination, offering a unique look at the city's rich history and architectural legacy. It's a must-see for anyone eager to discover the hidden layers of Plzeň. Number 7. The Metropolitan Area, Outer Underground Discharge Channel, Japan. The Metropolitan Area, Outer Underground Discharge Channel, also known as GCANS, is a remarkable flood control system located in Kasukabe, Saitama, Japan. This engineering wonder, completed in 2006, stretches for 6.3 kilometers and lies 50 meters below the ground. It includes 5 enormous containment silos, each standing 65 meters tall and 32 meters in diameter, all connected by a network of tunnels. Built to protect Tokyo and nearby areas from flooding during heavy rains and typhoons, the system is capable of diverting up to 200 metric tons of water per second into the Edogawa River. The main water tank, often compared to an underground temple, is 177 meters long, 78 meters wide, and 25.4 meters high, supported by 59 towering pillars. Visitors have the chance to tour this awe-inspiring facility, offering a fascinating look into Japan's cutting-edge flood control technology. Number 6. The Sanford Underground Research Facility. The Sanford Underground Research Facility, or SURF in Lead, South Dakota, is the deepest underground laboratory in the United States, located a staggering 4,850 feet beneath the surface. Originally the Homestake gold mine, it was transformed into a research facility in 2006.
Lead was once home to the largest gold mine in North America.
SURF is home to cutting-edge experiments in dark matter and neutrino physics, with a mile of rock above it providing a shield from cosmic radiation. The facility stretches over 370 miles of tunnels and hosts more than 27 experiments, including the LX Zeppelin dark matter detector and the Deep Underground Neutrino Experiment, or DUNE. SURF also delves into research in biology, geology, and engineering. Its unique underground setting allows scientists to tackle fundamental questions about the universe and our planet. Managed by the South Dakota Science and Technology Authority and funded by the U.S. Department of Energy and private donations, SURF is at the forefront of scientific discovery and continues to inspire future generations. And for our 5th entry into these unbelievable underground cities, get ready, because it's a military base hidden beneath the surface. Number 5. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, is more than just an important military site. Beneath its surface lies an entire underground world that's just as fascinating as its above-ground operations. Hidden from view, there's a network of tunnels and buildings that help keep the base running smoothly, even if the world outside gets chaotic. Down below, you'll find secure communication hubs, storage rooms, and command centers.
At Air Force Base, believe it or not.
That's right, and the sightings forced the Air Force Base.
All designed to ensure the base stays operational no matter what happens. These underground spaces are critical for protecting important equipment and sensitive operations from any threats that might pop up. But it's not all about protection. The underground part of Wright-Patterson is also a hotbed for cutting-edge research. The Air Force Research Laboratory, which calls the base home, takes full advantage of these hidden spaces to run groundbreaking experiments and work on developing new technologies. The calm, isolated environment helps scientists get the job done without any distractions or external interference. It's a perfect setup for pushing the boundaries of innovation. Number 4. Vivos. Imagine a hidden city built deep underground, designed to keep people safe during the worst possible disasters. That's what you'll find at Vivos Underground City. Located in one of North America's safest spots, this place isn't just a shelter, it's a network of luxury survival bunkers. There are 575 private shelters, each one big enough for several families. These bunkers are made to survive just about anything, from nuclear blasts to earthquakes and even pandemics. What makes Vivos so unique is that each shelter is fully self-sufficient.
Very, very well. So people live out here and they telecommute and do their jobs right out of their bunkers. So
they've got everything residents need to survive, including food, water, and medical supplies, enough to last over a year. The design is all about building a strong, cooperative community, so everyone can help each other out in times of trouble. And it's not all about survival. The shelters come with kitchens, living spaces, and even areas for recreation to make life down there more comfortable. And here's the cool part. Vivos isn't just in North America anymore. They're expanding, with new shelters popping up in Germany and Asia. Their goal? To provide a safe home for over 10,000 people across the globe. It's a fascinating mix of safety, luxury, and community, all packed into one underground city, ready for whatever the future holds. Number 3. Mesa Verde, Colorado. Mesa Verde in Colorado is like a hidden treasure chest of history, filled with cliff dwellings built by the ancestral Puebloans between 600 and 1300 CE.
One park in Colorado is being rewarded for what can only be seen in the dark.
These ancient homes were carved into the cliffs, blending perfectly with the surroundings. You can check out famous dwellings like Cliff Palace, Balcony House, and Spruce Tree House, all made from sandstone, mortar, and wooden beams. Cliff Palace is the largest and could house up to 100 people, with more than 150 rooms, including special ceremonial kivas. Visiting Mesa Verde is like traveling back in time. The park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has almost 5,000 archaeological sites, including about 600 cliff dwellings. If you go on a guided tour, you'll get a fascinating look at how the ancestral Puebloans lived, farmed, and built these impressive homes. Now, let's take a trip to Plzeň in Czechia, where an underground maze hides beneath the city's historic heart. The tunnels, stretching nearly 20 kilometers, have been around since the 13th century. Originally used for food storage, they later served as shelters during wars and helped manage water. You can explore an 800-meter section of these tunnels, which showcase the clever engineering of the medieval era and give a peek into what life was like back then. Number 2. Petra, Jordan. Petra, located in Jordan, is one of those places that feels like stepping straight into a history book, except it's real. Founded around the 6th century BC by the Nabateans, Petra was a major trading hub, connecting different cultures across the region. The city is built into vibrant, rose-red sandstone cliffs, which is why it's often called the Rose City. Trust me, when you see the colors in person, you'll understand why it earned that name.
Its rose-red facades and ancient streets have fallen eerily silent.
The most famous structure in Petra is Al-Khazne, also known as the Treasury. This stunning tomb facade is the first thing you'll see when you walk through the Sikh, a narrow, winding gorge. Other incredible sights around Petra include the monastery, the royal tombs, and the Roman theater, each offering a peek into the city's ancient grandeur. But Petra wasn't just about grand buildings. It had some serious engineering chops too. Its water management system, which included dams, cisterns, and aqueducts, allowed it to thrive in the harsh desert. Petra was lost to the outside world for centuries, but was rediscovered in 1812 by a Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. Today, Petra is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Number 1. The Tunnels of the Moose Jaws, Canada. The Tunnels of Moose Jaw, located in Saskatchewan, Canada, are like hidden gems that tell fascinating stories from the past. These tunnels, built in the early 1900s, were originally created to give Chinese immigrants a safe place to hide from harsh working conditions and discrimination. But as time went on, especially during the Prohibition era, the tunnels became something far more notorious. They were used for bootlegging, and it's said that even gangster Al Capone had connections to these underground passageways, making them a key spot for organized crime. Now, these tunnels aren't just a thing of the past, as they've become a cool tourist spot. When you visit, you can choose from different tours that really bring history to life. There's the Chicago Connection Tour, which dives deep into the Prohibition days, the Passage to Fortune Tour, where you'll learn all about the struggles and triumphs of Chinese immigrants, and even the Bunker 24 Tour, which takes you back to the Cold War era, showing how Canada prepared for the threat of nuclear war. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.